You don't have to do the same things that everyone else does to cut through the noise.
You can put your balls on the line, basically, and you just go for it.
I love running. I love testicles. Can I combine the both? Did you spend? Yeah, all right. I'm the Batman of bollocks.
It just shows the importance of having the purpose, like, locked in from the start, doesn't it? Like, how beneficial is that to raising awareness?
Someone telling their own story is one of the most powerful things.
Right, Toby.
Hello, mate.
Thanks ever so much for coming along, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Always
a pleasure.
One of the BizFest originals from last year. The big dog in terms of our charity partner. So, thanks for coming and thanks for jumping on.
All good. Thanks for inviting me not in my testicle costume, because it's nice to just be in my casuals
Just
today.
be normal.
Yeah.
It's like Batman, it's like Superman without a suit, isn't it, really? But
That's it.
yeah.
I said yesterday, I'm the Batman of bollocks.
Yeah.
Like, this is my alter ego. I'm more comfortable in the costume. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm down with that. So let's talk about Robbing Cancer Trust. I'd be really interested to deep dive into it and just know more about it. You know, why it exists. Why is it on the planet? Why are you here? Why do you do what you do?
Yeah. Okay. So taking it back nearly 15 years now, I lost my brother Rob to rare form of testicular cancer, and watching the family go through that, having experienced it, watched my brother go from like prime of his life to literally holding his hand on his deathbed. That was the spark of like, something good has to come of this. And I don't think there was any great scheme. I don't think there was any great plan. It was just like, let's do some good. And you go, what's missing? Who's doing what well? Yeah. What do we need to not replicate? So like, can we support other charities? Is there anyone doing stuff like Macmillan do amazing support, cancer research do the research? And we just went, no one's out there talking to people, like actually face-to-face human conversations with young people, especially. Like, my brother was fit, healthy and active. Like, he was the guy that was like running every morning, gym, football, and yet he missed signs and symptoms. And he said, I wish someone had told me about this. So like, right, well, there's the need. And I think that translates to a lot of businesses, right? You see a gap in the market. Ours was just for impact rather than, anything else. So then that's what we started doing, and we realised really swiftly that people really resonated with the fact that someone was doing it, like there was a need for it, and then it was the humour, the way we did it. It was the testicles, the ovaries, the talking bollocks, not overreacting, some great names that we came up with down the pub. You get enough pints in people, and people go, "Here's a good catchphrase we can use." And we just rolled with it, and it snowballed, and you get your branding sorted, you get a website sorted, start putting on events, start fundraising, and next thing you know, you're walking around BizFest as a giant testicle, talking to people about cancer and booking in workshops with people. So it's been a hell of a journey, but that's the core of why we do it. Like, and we always bring back, however big we are, whatever events we're at, like that inspiration's always there. It's like, drive human conversations with young people in a way that they want to be engaged with. I think that's the key. It's about, there's a core message that doesn't change. Different audiences, it might need to change around, but as long as we can stay true to who we are, the bold, the branding, the humour, that's very Robbing Cancer Trust.
It just shows the importance of having the purpose like locked in from the start, doesn't it? So a lot of people, especially like business owners, their purpose at the start is, it could be anything to like, I don't want to work for anyone else, or I've just had enough of my job, or I want to be my own boss, or I feel like I could do it better. These sort of things. You go, well, they're not a true purpose. They're not a true reason to get up every day and fight a good fight. And it is a fight, isn't it? Owning a business is literally like a boxing match every day. So then by default, you sort of think, if you've got that purpose, you're then going to have the drive, which will then see through. And that's why I feel like you guys have been so successful in what you're doing, because you've had that core message from like day one to like day whatever we're in now. Like day, how long have you been running for now?
Literally nearly 15 years.
15 years.
I can't do that in days. My math's not very good.
But
so that's interesting. I think those internal drivers are really important, right? I want financial freedom, I want to spend more time with family. Internal drive is really important, and that will see you through a lot. But what perhaps it doesn't do is resonate with other people. And I think maybe the problem businesses get themselves in is they start something because they want to do something, and then they're like, Christ, I've got to do some like marketing here to make this appeal to other people, and I've not got to like fit in my values or fit in a purpose that I can tell other, because I want financial freedom doesn't make me want to buy from you, does it? You're not doing anything for me. Yeah. So then it's like, we are we are giving back to communities that we serve, but it's retroactively put in. Whereas from a charity perspective, it's built in from the ground up.
Yeah.
You know, people get involved with us because they see the purpose. I have a brother, I have a sibling, I have a sister. I don't want that to happen to them. That human element resonates. So we've been able to build community around us to help us grow because that purpose is authentic, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's that, you know, you look at it and people don't go, well, that feels just like a few buzzwords on a website. You can live it, you can breathe it, you come any touch point from social media to our website to meeting us, you're like, yeah, these people understand the reason why they're here.
Yeah.
And that is maybe some of the reason people disconnect with corporates. You know, that's part of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you live your values? How do you resonate those out to people?
Yeah, and I think sometimes they're spoken about or put across to their employees team, you know, outreach, but by like a poster on a wall that people walk past every day, and then you know they can walk past it every day for 5 years. You go, tell us our 5 key values, and I ain't got a fucking clue what you're going on about. You go, you walk past it, it's on a poster. Yeah, but I don't, you know, I don't.
It's no different to live, love, laugh, is it? Like,
yeah. So I think that's the key. That's the key to it, right? And obviously you guys, I mean, you've got that, and what an amazing purpose to have, right? So obviously you started it. So when you started, it was just you. I take it, you in a bedroom.
Me and a very supportive family, I must say. So I can't. It's not all me. The unfortunate face of this, but me, mum, dad, and my brother. Basically, we started it, and Rob passed. I had left my job, and we came up with this idea for the charity. And my parents, very kindly said, "Look, we can support you for now. Just go out and find all the questions." And it was just me. And then you've got mates that can do websites, mates that can do a bit of branding, mates that want to put on an event, and you just go, I'll take anything I can get. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks. You just go, right, worry about it all later. Yeah, and we'll just keep going.
Thankfully, then, you know, it's not like an IOU. They never ask for anything back because you're a charity case. So that's good. But just that drive, basically. And I think, you know, for me, I would say that it was a good cathartic release from the grief as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, like being able to say, I'm doing something every day driving for a great good.
Yeah.
Feels really nice inside. It helps with those feelings. Like, I don't say I dealt with it very well. I've talked about it multiple times, you know, there was things going on, but that was a good thing, like, for me to focus on, and I needed that at that time. And I think that's gone from that grief reaction to, oh Christ, we're actually building something, to oh, now I'm in charge of an entity, an organization, and now I love the sort of the organizational side of it, the strategic side of it. And I sort of look back, and there's periods of there's young, wishful, hopeful Toby to sort of like entrepreneurial Toby to sort of like, I don't know, founder Toby to now I feel like I'm maybe in CEO Toby sort of mode. And that's quite interesting, seeing that journey happen over years. And you don't know it's happening, do you? But that's part of the growth. That's part of the learning curve that you go through. You evolve as a person, as a leader to help the organisation around you.
It's the same learning, as I think. It's the same learning curve as well. They talk about grief, don't they? As well as I remember doing listening to a talk from a guy called Marcus Charles, and he talks about, you know, when bad things happen in your life, there's like this sort of this curve like that. And I can't remember all the touch points, but it's very much like, I don't know, disbelief then turns into like anger, which then turns into like recognition, then it turns into like basically dealing with it and then coming out the other side of it, right? So by default, owning the business is pretty much the same sort of thing, really. You'd be like, oh, you know, if something bad happens within the business, I can't believe they've knocked me. Like, oh, bastards, I want to kill them. And then it goes back down and go, actually, well, it's just life. And then what am I going to do about it? And you go, right, we're back off again. And you have that. And it's the same thing with grief, right? And it's exactly the same sort of curve that you get. And I feel like you're fortunate in terms of having the mindset where you can turn a negative to a positive. So then by default, you're like pretty much the best person to ever run a business, isn't you, really? Because you know that challenge, and you know how to overcome things. And within business, it's like that all the time, isn't it?
I was going to say, that one's daily, isn't it?
Literally daily.
The grief stays with you lifelong, but the business one's daily. But it is, and I think perspectives matters, right? And I think those calluses, grief is a hell of a traumatic thing to go through, and that builds a hell of a callus. So perspective then on other things as they're going wrong, or if you go, okay, well, this literally, whatever's happening in business isn't life or death, and that helps, because that becomes maybe a bit more like that, and you're like, okay, well, or you can sometimes shortchange it to go, I've been here, I've done that, maybe I'll just go straight to that bit, which helps. But it does take a long time. But I think, sometimes, you know, going through what you've gone through or whatever, no one ever wants that. but there are positives you can take out of it. That learning, that experience, that perspective is a really powerful thing for not hitting the highs too high, not hitting the lows too low. And I think that's a really important thing in business. Like, celebrate, yes, but don't let it get to your head. And when the lows happen, just learn from it. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Because you get to a point, you go, either stay here or I learn from it and I try not to do that again.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, and that is sort of life, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And so like you've got that 15-year journey now, right? So where was there any sort of major points in that 15 years where you were like, oh, this is mega, like we're talking about highs and lows? Is there a bit that was like, this is the lowest of the lows or the highest of the highs? Like what stands out in your mind?
COVID was a hard one.
Yeah, loved it.
Oh my God, it feels so long ago, doesn't it?
But
now,
actually, do you know what it was? It isn't that long ago, not in terms of working life,
No.
you know. And what a bastard moment that was in time.
It's hard. So we went from what we thought was 150,000 guaranteed. For the charity, it was a bumper year. Like, that was a really good period of growth, all based around events. Like, half marathons had chosen us, people that were putting on events had chosen us as their partner. And then that, what was it, February to March time, you just watched that get wiped. And we literally in that year just had 8,000 guaranteed. So I was the only member of staff, put on furlough, and it was like, what do we do? What do we do? We're about to close. So we as a charity went, right, we've always been like honest with people. We've always been big and bold. We're going to do two things. We're going to talk to our local half marathon, Colchester, and say, can we take your branding and everything and turn it into a virtual? And they were like, yeah, you were one of our charity partners anyway, do that. So we put on a virtual, and like the community got around that. And then we were like, okay, we're going to do a campaign. And we did a campaign just honest as can be, because everyone was doing campaigns. The charity sector was full of it. It was like, we're struggling, we need to help people, our thing hasn't gone into, but they're all like sort of like nice music in the background, a solemn face. We did one just called We're Fucked. And it was me, to camera, really punchy. It was like, COVID's fucked us.
I remember watching it. I remember seeing it, I think the starting line, wasn't it? We are fucked.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Perfect.
COVID has fucked us. We have no income, nothing. Give us your money or we're not going to exist.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. And people absolutely loved it. And it was a sort of just a clarifying moment of, you don't have to do the same things that everyone else does to cut through the noise. You can do something a little bit different. We literally, as trustees, they all said, we've got nothing to lose. Go for it. It's quite bold, you know, but the trustees were like,
it's brilliant.
Just go for it.
I love moments like that, because you just think, you know, just having you're putting your balls on the line, basically, and you just go, I'm going for it. You know, what other choice have we got? Yeah. We had the same things with, obviously, my companies with the bars and the events and stuff. It was like turning it off. And the problem what we had, it's probably the same as you, is we didn't have it. There was no source of direction, was there? So by default, you're just basically watching the TV, watching the news to come on, go, right, this is what I'm going to do today. Let's go buy a load of fucking sausage rolls so I can have some customers. I mean, what on God's earth? Or no, was it Scotch eggs or sausage rolls? One of them, wasn't it? But you just think, like, where do you take that? What sort of direction is that? And as a leader and someone that owns a business, that was probably the biggest time I found in my life where you found that you actually were someone that people look to for guidance, right? So like normal day to day, everyone's doing stuff, everyone's moving around. That bit was like completely gone, and everyone's just looked at you and gone, what do we do now? Do we do?
Yeah.
And that, honestly, for me, it was definitely a moment where I've gone, oh my God, like I'm actually, a couple of people are quite dependent on my decision making now. Yeah. It's not so much like for yourself, you go, oh, shall I run that marathon or that marathon? You know, these are good, solid decisions to make for outreach or whatever it may be. But these decisions were like, you know, will little Timmy pay his mortgage this
100%.
month? You know, so it's mega time, isn't it? And what you've done, it shows super entrepreneurial spirit in terms of going, right, again, got a negative, let's turn it into a positive. So yeah,
people loved it as well. Like, it was really well received in the sector. The community got behind it, and that was a turning point. That was for us. We came out of COVID really strongly, so we did a really good fundraising. That's when we hired our first member of staff, aside from me as well.
Right.
So we came out of this massively negative period where, for the sector as well, it was like really destructive. Everyone shrunk back. Everyone was talking about how tough it was. We went straight into a cost of living crisis as well, didn't we? But for us, it's been that turning point of going, right, well, we're going to do things our own way, not look at what everyone else is doing. What feels right? What can we like make good decisions on? Yeah, hired Darren on our team, who's been like the best ambassador for us, and he's out there hitting the streets, doing the awareness, doing all the things he's great at, allowed me to do what I'm good at. And we've just been hiring every time we've sort of hit a capacity wall since. So we've been growing since COVID. So that's the thing I'm sort of most proud of, just that turning that really negative bit into the catalyst for what we are today, which is 9 strong all across the country with scalable, sustainable, national sort of services.
So pre-COVID then, so
Mm.
it was basically like you and the family sort of unit as such,
Yeah.
running up to it. So what would you say was the difference between obviously now where you're in a real big growth
Mm.
stage? What was the difference between then and like where it's just like say for instance because you are not you might have stagnated for quite some
Yeah,
time,
definitely.
and then you sort of had that moment like bang and then off again. So if there wasn't a COVID, what would you have utilised to like try to make that upturn happen?
We were always at that stuck of, I suppose it'd be the equivalent of being like, you start a business, but you're basically self-employed.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
effectively what I
yeah,
was
you
doing.
call it a business, but really,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
like,
me,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm paying a wage,
yeah.
getting paid a wage to do a
I'm
job.
my own boss. Yeah, no, I
And I get
understand,
I can't take dividends or anything like that, obviously, as well.
yeah,
So it just gets pumped straight into the impact. So
yeah,
we were always waiting for that. Let's get a little bit of money before we can hire someone,
yeah,
which is that risk reward bit.
yeah,
And that's what the £150,000 was supposed to be, that we were going to get that COVID year. Like, that was our bumper year. Be like, right, we'll now hire someone.
yeah.
But COVID was just perfect timing, in that Darren, our now community engagement manager, who was a testicular cancer survivor, who I
Wow.
learned from, he taught me how to do the talks, and I used to steal his jokes. And he was a testicular cancer ambassador long before me. He just got made redundant, and then it was like, well, this is perfect timing, and you're in total like pro risk mode, because
Yeah.
we're about to close, so the
Yeah.
risk of hiring a staff member doesn't seem much. So
Yeah.
I remember giving him a contract and being like, 6 months, either do your job well or neither of us will have a job in 6 months. But that didn't seem scary, because we were like 2 weeks away from closing the charity anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, this will work or it won't work. So I guess
That's
being a bit more
amazing.
pro risk, that's something we've sort of taken as a charity as well. Even as we've grown, my trustees are still quite pro risk.
Yeah.
Like, if we come to them with a good case of business, we're like, we need to do this for X, Y, and Z. They're like, yeah, we trust you now because you've got this
Well,
history.
you prove it, didn't you? You prove
exactly.
the decision making. So then by default, you go, that's worth it. That's
Yeah.
worth another gamble now, because it's,
Yeah, and our trustees, for anyone listening, is equivalent to a board of directors, basically.
Right,
But I get them
okay.
for free.
Yeah.
They're just lovely people that give their time and effort for free.
And have they all got sort of, is that the way to put it? Like cancer backgrounds? Have they all got like emotional ties? Is that why they're doing it?
Yeah, I suppose part of our job as a charity is diversifying that board, right? So,
Right.
the trustee board was my family when we started, then it was
Yeah.
family and friends, and then it was people that we knew in sort of like local businesses or universities. And now it's like, we've got businessmen, we've got people with lived experience, we've got clinical oversight, we've got two people that work for major national charities in there, so like head of philanthropy, head of operations, or directors of, sorry. So we've got this massive breadth. You just look at it and go, what are we missing, right?
Got ya.
What more do we need? And actually, we've got quite a nice tight board.
Good team sheet.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Get the spread and go, we've got every angle. And their job is to come at everything from different angles, right? Financially, support first, clinically led, how are we making money on this? And they bring all of the experience that we don't have as an ops team.
And how often do you all meet? Is that a thing?
Yeah, once a month.
God, it's a commitment for them as well.
It is a commitment,
then.
yeah. So we meet virtually once a month. We have quarterly proper meetings, as it were.
Yeah.
So like, but yeah, we meet with them. So they're very tuned in. We go to them with problems. They come up with solutions. It's
God, it's ideal. It's like having basically like a board of mentors, isn't it? That you can just
100%,
turn around and just get some advice from and get cracking.
Yeah, literally.
Ultimate. So what's happening? Obviously, you were at BizFest last year.
Yes.
Be interested to see what you thought to it.
I loved it.
Don't say shit.
No, it was good. I thought my stage was the best stage. No, it was brilliant. I really loved it. Like, you do a lot of networking, don't you?
Yeah.
We all do a lot of networking. You can stand in a room, shake hands with a nice badge on, feel like you've done some good work. But no, what we really want is an environment where networking doesn't feel like you're putting any effort in.
Yeah.
And I thought BizFest was great for that. Like, obviously, I'm on your podcast, I'm slightly biased. But I thought it was fantastic. I love the people we had on our stage. I thought there was some brilliant insights. It was a good mix of panels. It was a good mix of brilliant hands-on experience. And I just love the fact that all the speakers that are giving all that, they were there. Like, you could go and just talk to them as well. That was brilliant. It was so tactile. It was big enough to feel like you were at a festival and that you were having a good day out. I can imagine for team building, that was great.
Yeah.
There was loads of breakouts. Saw the art stuff was really popular. I really, really enjoyed it.
I loved it. And obviously, I sort of utilised it because obviously I lost my sister last year to cancer. So it was great, like turning a negative to a positive, like we've been talking about, is utilising you guys as such, for like me to have my own little selfish, like, do good type scenario. So, and like what you were saying in terms of like, you have this moment and you try and get a positive out of it. For me, you guys being there and being such a strong part of the whole day was like, for me going, right, little tick for Andy type thing, which is brilliant. And then it just shows the power again of like getting people in a room and utilising the people that you know and just trying to do good. You know, because it's nice to be nice, and I just think it's really important just to utilise great people in your lives for the best you can to do around them. So yeah, no, I was well chuffed that you're there, and obviously you're going to be there again this year.
100%. I'll be there, emceeing the stage and sort of facilitating as best I can and talking to everyone. And we'll be there as a team, doing all of our awareness bits as well, and getting people to sign up for our talks that we can deliver in their businesses. That's the idea. So
and then obviously, apart from BizFest, but you like waving the Robbing Cancer Trust flag, right? So that's been a big part of like your job role as such now, right? So within that, you've been doing loads of running, loads of things. So I wanted to loads of running. So I'd love to talk a little bit, like you and I sort of spent a bit of time at the Colchester Half, like running together, which was fairly, running with a massive ball bag around the coast. That's why kids are going, "What's that, Daddy?" Is always an interesting.
Just before I caught up with a man who was dressed as an inflatable rooster, I think. So we had a cock and balls moment.
Yeah, lovely, ideal. Yes. Yeah. So in terms of that, then let's just talk about what you're doing now in terms of waving that flag. Like, what are you doing? I know you've been doing loads of running, loads of stuff like that, but equally, what output do you get from that? Like, how beneficial is that to raising awareness?
Yeah. So the running, the thing, what I do is run around as a giant testicle, as you know, sort of 7 foot high, 3 foot wide, done well over 500 kilometers. In fact, 2 weeks before BizFest this year, I will have run 100 kilometers in that, which is like my crescendo of the whole campaign. And I think so. The beauty of what we've created with the testicle suit was, it's now gone into other hands. Like, people ran last year's half marathon. We had a testicular cancer survivor running it because I couldn't. London Marathon next year, I've got another testicular cancer. So it's the balls have become a mascot for the community in a really positive way that people want to run in it, and I can hand. It's my baton. Create something, hand it off. I don't always have to be
the Olympic torch.
Yeah, exactly. But a giant pair of testicles with pubes all over it. So yeah, again, it's the idea is these are mass participation events, right? London is 1 million people all there, and the response
2 days this year, isn't it?
2 days, 150,000 people. We've only run one on the Sunday, so we've got 1 day of those, but they're amazing. The response is incredible. What we find is partners want to communicate with us and partner. We get the races themselves get behind it. So like Brighton Marathon are amazing. They post about us. They interview us. They got us on BBC this year. So like the outputs for us are huge. We're reaching literally millions of people with these balls. And then we get the DMs. We get the messages from people saying like, I found a lump. I've checked myself. I've nudged my partner to go because he's been complaining. Like, with the visceral, like, awareness is hard to track, right? It's out there until you get someone come back and say this happened because of X, Y, and Z. You don't always know, but enough of those come in to go, right, well, if they're taking the time to message us, we know this is reaching people in a really important way. And the idea is it's stigma breaking, right? It is fundamentally, most people listening will go, I don't want to do that. I would never run around like a giant pair of testicles. It is inherently embarrassing, and that's the thing we're trying to break down. And I think the power of it now, having survivors doing it, there's just that really impactful story of people going through something and going, now I'm giving back to my community by doing this. So people see the impact, people love it, the partners love it as well. We tie in other fundraisers around it. It's just been amazing. It's one of those things, I had a silly idea and I just gut went, go for it. And I said to my wife, look, I love running, I love testicles, can I combine them both? She just went, yeah, all right. And it's just, we've rolled with it. Sometimes I think that bit about leading that entrepreneurial spirit is just having a gut feel of like, I feel like this is going to really work. Sometimes they don't, and you learn from them, but sometimes you just hit gold dust. And this one has been absolutely gold dust. Like, it's something that the news love, media outlets love, influencers love, social media love. It's just exactly what it should be. Scroll stopping, which is the first thing, or eye turning. People get the message, got to check your balls straight on the back. So it's like, I understand the message, and then people know exactly what to do straight afterwards as well.
And you're sparking conversations all the way around. Absolutely. So that's like super important for people, and that's all you really want to do. All those touch points, just keep the wheels turning type thing. Do you find is there any negatives in terms of when you're doing that? Is there anyone that's like, oh mate?
Honestly, never. I've not had it once, and I'm always surprised the amount of people. I mean, there might be rumblings happening, but kids, you've heard it, kids talking to their parents, what's that, mummy? And they're all laughing and they're like, it's a giant pair of testicles, kid. Like, obviously I get called a potato, I get called a love heart, I got called a nose by some bloke and his mate was rinsing him. But no, I've not had any negative. But the amount of people that come up to me whilst running, they like catch up to me like we did. We had a great chat going down Mile End Road, didn't we? People just doing that. I've run for like miles with people telling me their cancer stories, and I think that's so powerful. People coming up and fist bumping me. I think the running community is a lovely place, isn't it? They expect silly, and everyone knows how hard these races are anyway. So when you go the extra mile, people go like, at the very least, I respect what you're doing. Like, I expect the effort that's going into
I don't
this,
understand why you're a fridge, but well done you.
I don't want to do that, and that's incredible.
Exactly
So,
and I think you're exactly right, and it goes back to the thing. If you were talking to the right people in the right environment, you know, and it's the same as what we've done with BizFest in terms of like everyone in the right environment, nice, relaxed atmosphere of the field, right people, entrepreneurs, founders, you know, like business people. You just have better conversations. So the running community is exactly the same. And obviously, we started our own little run club within one of my companies, and it's just gone from like strength to strength to strength. People love it, you know, and it's just a release, and it just to have a conversation, and what like what you're talking about, the stigma of conversations. You actually find when you're running with someone, because you haven't got time to think, you end up just saying things that you probably wouldn't normally say to people, but because your body's moving and your sort of adrenaline's going, the conversation becomes more natural, doesn't it?
100%, and that's so interesting, especially with men. We talk in parallels, right? We hate doing this.
Yeah, right.
We're not very comfortable. Even when me and you were talking, like you look off, we're sort of off to an angle. We're not great at that sort of group environment. Running's perfect because we're running next to each other. We're not looking at each other in the eye. And like you say, you're not having too much time to think. Your brain's just whirring. You're thinking about your breathing, your legs, what they're doing. You start talking. And that's so powerful that I think what we do as the testicular side is so stigma breaking. It's like here. But it starts those conversations all the way back. And that can be to my legs hurting, to, you know what, I'm struggling a little bit, or it's been a tough week, or, you know, something's getting really on top of me, the mental health stuff. And I think that's sort of a real privilege that we have to work at this end of the scale. If we can start these conversations, all of that other stuff happens as well.
It becomes easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So in terms of the charity, where's it going now? Like, what's happening? What's around the corner? Anything massive?
Bigger and better, really. I mean, our thing at the moment is we've got some amazing funding for some posts, just making sure that we can secure those. We're building out our support services. So we're doing a lot, like the awareness, the education, are rolling. Obviously, the awareness online, at the events, at like BizFest, what we're going to be doing. Always rolling. Reaching bigger audiences with that is the goal, mainly through partnerships. Like we're doing a lot of work with, trying not to take too much on ourselselves. Obviously, how can we leverage other audiences so we're reaching new people? The education is in colleges, in universities, in workplaces, going in and actually delivering face-to-face or virtual sort of talks, which again is really powerful. That human interaction. There's only so much you can do until you like. Someone telling their own story is one of the most powerful things. And then the support services launching then. So trying to make sure anyone in the UK that is affected by testicular or ovarian cancer gets the same services from us. So building community, making sure people can talk to each other, and then doing some therapy as well. And we give out free cancer support packs to anyone affected as well. So it's just trying to take what works, scale it as best we can nationally. So
one of the funny, just quickly off, there was sort of one of the funniest things or nicest things that I think you gave me when I was going through bits with Becky was you gave me like a colouring book. And that just got it funny as hell.
So good.
Fuck you cancer. And it was like a colouring book. I was like, this is brilliant.
It is good.
But those sort of things, just breaking down barriers, just the element of fun in it, and going, look, we're in a wherever we are now in the situation we are, just got to get on with it. You know, this sort of, have a positive mindset on it. We're going to do as best we can and try and do it with a smile on our face. And I think having those elements is like super, super important. You know,
and I think there's two things to that. I think one is, that's not for everyone, right? That book is one of those things that doesn't resonate with everyone. We say as a charity, we're not for everyone, and that's okay, which is a weird thing for a charity because you're supposed to be like, anyone can come to us. But I'm like,
that's interesting.
Look at our branding, look at how we talk, look at how we act. There are going to be people that come to us and go, this feels a bit much, actually. But we work with partners, right? Our job is to then go, okay, if we're not for you, we'll work with this charity here, this service here. So it's about not diluting who we say we are, and then with by saying this is us, we bring people into that community that get it, that want to be around it. And then when they come into our community, especially as survivors or family members that have been affected, because we have WhatsApp groups for both, because I think it's really important to support the people around people.
Yeah.
They're around people that they resonate with. There's no, you know, and that's fine. It's not about necessarily thinking, oh, we have to appeal to absolutely everyone
type thing. No, that's really, really good. So if we sort of just closing off then, if we had to, or BizFest had to hold you accountable for something that you're going to achieve in the next 12 months,
okay,
what would it be? So if we sat down here again this time next year when Toby, you said you were going to do this, what would it be?
So you put me on the spot here. I had about 3 seconds to think about this before we started. I think what I'm actually going to say is I'm going to say no to more.
Interesting.
I think it's very easy, especially if you're a sort of entrepreneurial mindset, to see the opportunities in everything. But what can happen with that, and I see it when I get excited, is that can stretch your team. And actually, I think it's about having a bit of a methodical approach to going, what outcomes are we driving? Let's take a breath. What outcomes are we driving? How are we going to achieve that? And how are we going to record that? And is that actually something that we can achieve? And then if it's not, actually saying, do you know what? We're going to let this one pass.
Yeah.
Because as you grow, the opportunities come in thick and fast. And actually, especially if you're working on a national scale, you can end up stretching far too much. And that's not sustainable. You know, one of the things we need to do is make sure capacity and outputs are sort of looked after. So BizFest for us, we will go in and we'll go, we want this outcome, we want to drive this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to look at how we've achieved that. I'm not saying we will say no the year after. We know we'll achieve what we're going to do because we know what we want to do, and there's an amazing audience for us. But it's about doing that. So I think it's, have I said no enough? Because if we start saying no enough, we're saying yes to the right things, and then you can amplify really quickly through that.
Great answer. Look at that, eh?
So I'm not coming on this podcast again.
Yeah. Wicked. Cheers, Toby. Cheers, mate.
Thanks
for
bud.
coming down.
Appreciate it.